Holy Chaverim, Chaim Weinstein, Johnny Seidel. Let's open up our hearts before we start. A little prayer for all of Am Yisrael. B'Shem Kol Yisrael. When you hear me, when you hear I in the tefillah, it's mamish everyone. It's not just me saying it. B'Shem Kol Yisrael. The wisdom in all things. This is the Likutei Tefillos, Rabbi Nassan. Grant me holy wisdom, Ribbon Shalom, and intelligence. Let me always see things in the light of the holy wisdom they contain, and so attach myself to you through everything in the world. Let me understand the constant messages and signals you send me to come closer to you. Amen. A
Amen.
holy prayer, constantly seeing Hashem's light in mamish everything and everything.
Did you make that tefillah?
No. I'm just not even close now. The Likutei Tfilos, Rabbi Nassan. I
Who
had
made that?
it didn't even come out yet. My great uncle came out with it, Rav Chaim Kramer.
Wow.
No, it's Gavaldic. They're gonna have like a big reveal. It's crazy. But actually, Chaim, you asked a terrific question. Like, did you write that tefillah? And no, I did not. But the whole idea behind Rabbi Nachman's teaching, whatever Torah you learn, you should turn that Torah into a personalized tefillah. Because the tefillah, when you're constantly asking for it from Ribono Shel Olam, right? You want it to be part of your life. You want to live the Torah, right? So I didn't write the specific prayer, but we have the ability to. So hopefully we can all construct our own tefillos. Maybe after stealing Torah, who knows? So we've been talking about simple faith up until now, questions, answers, philosophy, the faith of our fathers, right? But the main thing we all know is to have faith. That's simple faith. It's the foundation, it's the nucleus, and we don't want to, I guess, make it vulnerable. We don't want to put the foundation in a situation where it's penetrable, where things can like attack it, right? And start questioning and having doubts of your faith. We don't want that. We believe in God with faith alone, not because of philosophical analysis. Right? We've been talking about philosophy for the last couple of days. We believe that the Ribono Shel Olam, the master of the world, created the whole universe, that he sustains his universe, and that in time to come, he will renew it. We believe that Hashem is mechadish b'tuvo v'chol yom tamid. Philosophical works pose what appear to be extremely difficult questions while providing very weak answers. Right? So Rabbi Nachman is expanding on the point. Sorry. Rabbi Nachman is expanding on the idea that philosophy is just not worth it. Right? It's just not worth it to dive into it, because what you're seeking, right? What you're seeking, you're not going to receive, right? Proportionate to what you're searching for, right? So the rut zone of wanting answers. Rabbi Nachman saying philosophy won't give you I'm losing words right now, but you won't get answers that will satisfy, that will satiate your questions through philosophy. It just won't happen. On further inquiry, anyone can challenge the answers, which will be of no avail, merely generating more questions. Right? So the answers of philosophy, it'll be this continuation, this domino effect of more and more questions, right? Where we spoke about last night, don't go across your dead end. Don't go beyond your dead end. Each human, right, has their own intellect.
So what do we do when someone questions us?
We have to do Chazara on last night's shir. We mamash have to do Chazara, but we'll speak afterwards. Amazing. But the truth is that all their questions are nothing. They are mere vanity and striving after the wind. It is best to avoid such works completely. These types of questions that we involve ourselves in, there's no gain from it. There's no reward at the end of the day. I think that's the point that Rabbi Nachman is trying to stress to us. Right? It's a high risk, low reward situation. And we don't want to put our neshama, our faith, into a high risk situation. So it's better to have that simple faith. It's better to say, okay, Hashem created everything in this world. He's above nature. He's higher than all these questions. And I'm just gonna rely on that. Right? But I'm gonna yearn and I'm gonna demand Hashem for me to be able to answer those doubters. Sorry for the cough. To be able to answer those questions. So Bezrat Hashem, Chavra, we shouldn't go past our stop signs, our dead ends. And if we do, or if we're at the stop sign, which it's really hard to be at, right? Merely impossible. And you're just looking ahead and you see this huge field, this endless field. We have to stop right then and there and say, that's above my understanding. And I'm going to choose to believe in it. I'm going to choose to believe in the Ribbon Shalom. So Bezrat Hashem, guys, please feel free to mute yourself. Sorry for the coughing. My throat. I need tea. Chaim, what do you think? Maybe we could talk off record. You know, because
I think it's true, but it's problematic.
What's problematic?
You have guys whose way of thinking is logical, and you have people who aren't necessarily the most lofty spiritual kind of guys who need that they need fact and structure and proofs in order to feel like they could be close to Kadosh Baruch Hu. And if you go to Ish, let's say, they can do that. It is possible to make Judaism feel and feel like the most logical thing also, not just a faith and a belief. Even though it is an emunah, it is a faith, and that's how it's supposed to be. But I don't think everyone is built that way. But I also can't really say anything to Rav Nachman,
Yeah.
He knows more than I do.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to understand. I'm just trying to be the messenger that's reading the message.
Right.
But I think with the sophistication, with the complexities that one has, right, you need to balance that with the faith. Right? There will be questions, right, in your Avos Hashem. It's impossible to not have questions. Right. But there comes a point where it's enough, right? And you're just going to have to believe and have a simple faith. I'm going to call again. So
that is true. They mentioned that also in Ish. That is true. Shraga took us there, for Shana Aleph, and I still remember it. For a day of just proofs. For all the kids just sit in the back of the class, I don't believe in God, Rabbi. Those kids got rocked. But they said that. They said that we can prove to you 99%, but you're going to have to take that 1% jump. It is at the end of the day, still a belief.
Exactly. Because that's the whole idea. God is infinite, right? And we just don't have that infinite understanding. We don't have that true light, right? We're limited to the light, right? It's our job to bring out the light. Oh my gosh, it's frozen.
True.
I was just frozen for a second. But so Bezrat Hashem.
Mishlei states, I have made a return. I'm sorry, I couldn't tune in today for the whole time. Mishlei states, V'hi chakma mimeni. Shlomo says that there's wisdom out there, and we know that Shlomo HaMelech was the wisest of all. He says that there's wisdom that was chachma mimeni, wisdom that was too great. Now, Baruch Hashem, we just had read Parshat Chukah. That is a reference actually to the Paraduma, that out of all the chachmot in the world that ever existed, the Paraduma Shlomo couldn't understand. This comes to tell us that there's something that there's the greatest aspect of us realizing that we have wisdom and can appreciate wisdom is when we can say, I can't understand it. Meaning to say, we also know that the Rebbe of not Zhytomyr, but some other town in Poland or Russia with a Z, it's not Zhytomyr. He would learn a piece of Torah, and everyone knows the story. Jack is smiling because he's heard it before. He would learn a piece of Torah, and then he would understand it to the fullest extent that of his mind can. Then he would learn it again and realized he understood nothing of it.
I read in everybody anyone know what Tal Chermon is?
Kamuvan.
Steps?
Rav Avinar.
Yeah, it's a really good sefer. There's one on Parashan, one on Chagim, from the Rav, I think the past head Rav of Beit El. I don't know if
I think it's Eli, no?
Maybe he's the Rav of the Mechina, but he lives in Beit El.
Oh, okay, fine.
Either way, so it mentioned last week's parsha also that like there are two shitot for how we understand Torah. And he even listed sources for both of them, which is interesting because I thought that one was obviously wrong and one was obviously right. But he said that either you could take what you learned in the Torah, and he was talking about the Paraduma, and we could see something that's so lofty and hard to understand, which is like the Paraduma is like our A-class example of something that we have no clue what's going on there, you know? Like you're going to have a red cow, and if you burn it for some reason, it's like extra tahor for you to, you know, like what, that's not something that we can really understand. So the two approaches are either you look up at the Torah and you say, okay, I understand that that's not something I can get to. I understand that that's above me, and I understand that I won't understand it, but I still accept it, like emunah. And the other approach is to try and bring it down to a level that we can understand, you know, and try and like shape it to our mind and our world a little bit more. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, that's the deepest point in the world. I mean, I also, that was based off Samson's story of the place, right?
Yeah.
I would study something, I don't know the name, but to the fullest extent. What's the name? Oh my gosh, it's too deep and too long for him to unmute himself.
It's a Rebbe. It's a Rebbe. It's a
Rebbe. Well,
it's a Rebbe. It's a Rebbe.
No, but Chaim, that's a very deep point, and it's a very correct point. Wow, Bezrat Hashem. There's so many levels to every piece of Torah that we learn, and we have to know that. 1000%. The more we do Chazar, the more we learn, the more of an understanding we'll have of it, and oh my gosh, and the more we'll realize that like how far we are. But it's so beautiful to be far because we have this constant yearning to come closer, right? To reach new heights. So, Kavra, I wish you nothing but health, happiness, and success. I'm so happy Chaim came on tonight. Nothing makes me happier, really. And just to see Samson Schiff and John Seidel. The Zoom is just a Beit Midrash, right? That's what it is at the end of the day. That's why Hashem created Zoom, just for a virtual Beit Midrash. And I'm sorry for the cough. But Chavra, nothing but health, happiness, and success. Whether you're spending Am Yisrael like Chaim is doing, the deepest purpose, right? We have Samson Schiff, who's just trying to understand the intricacies of the bridges, the different coordinates. And you have John Seidel, who's going to be part of the Israeli government one day. We all know that. He's just preparing himself, and IDC is just a springboard. So, Bezrat Hashem, we should all be healthy, happy, and successful. And the Kavod Shabbos Kodesh, and the Kavod Shabbos.
Oh my God, it's Thursday night, Jack.